Hello and welcome back to For St. Pete's Sake. This is the political podcast where we deep dive into everything going on in Pinellas County, the state of Florida, and beyond. Sorry, I had some things on my screen there. My name is Christian. I'm your host, joined as always with my co-host, Laura Gerken. Laura, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Christian. It's been raining this week, which has been nice. And that makes me really sleepy. And I just want to have nap times in the rain. But we didn't rain today, so
No, it did not today. Today's
not
been
able
dry.
to be. Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's been surface of the sun hot again, but
yeah, I'm sitting outside right now, and it's not terrible. I feel like these evening hours, once we hit that 6:30, 7 o'clock mark, it's bearable, but it's
you're
still like
totally right.
I'll be wiping my face at some point during this episode.
Mm.
So we don't have a guest tonight, which is just amazing because we get to sit and yap and yell and scream into the void, and whoever listens online listens, and whoever doesn't,
Yeah.
man, to you. So let's get into it. What do you open us up? What do you want to dive into for today already? First of all, actually, real quick, I'm so sorry. We
Go
have to
ahead.
acknowledge the horrible, devastating loss that both losses that have affected our community. The first one being Tim Curry, and the second one being Dolly Parton, and
Yeah.
two amazing queer icons who I think everybody is able to, especially about Dolly, but also about Tim Curry. They
Tim.
were,
Yeah.
you could relate to them no matter what it was. And both losses are devastating. And so we just want to acknowledge that. And yeah, I'll let you talk about
Yeah,
that.
no, that was yesterday for Dolly was a hard one. I have our friend Felinius, Doug at Felinius does a really cool Dolly Parton Dolly holding the cat old school picture, and he's got that on a tee and tank, and so I wore that in honor of her yesterday. And yeah, today Tim Curry, that one hurts. I guess I didn't realize that he was in his 80s, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like that was a little shocking just because you don't think of those icons as aging, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Same with Dolly Parton. Like,
yeah.
what do you mean she was 80? No, she's Dolly Parton. She's timeless.
Right. She's timeless. She doesn't, and I think both of them, up until the end, they were both very active and like didn't show any signs of anything. Dolly, we know recently was a little sick, but and she wasn't able to go to the opening of her coaster at Dollywood. But she recorded a video. She was able to, just up until very, very recently, I assume she was just being her normal self, and so it's definitely an eye opener, and the world is a little less sparkly today.
That's for sure. And, I'm sure, she's brilliant in, her planning and everything. She was a smart businesswoman
Hmm.
above and beyond anything else. And I learned today about the library, the book thing that she does. Like you can, sign up through Dolly's like imagination library or something, and you get children's books sent to you once a month. And it's just I've been seeing parents just raving about the amazing books that they've gotten over the years to read to their kids because of Dolly Parton and,
Yeah.
because, there's a creator on Instagram and TikTok named Pearlmania that pointed this out, that, she could have been a billionaire. Dolly
Hmm.
very, very well could have
Oh,
let
yeah.
her money make money and been a billionaire.
Yeah.
But
Many times
she
over.
many times over, but she invested that money back into her fans, back into children, back into the Nashville and Tennessee community. Like,
Hmm.
I just back Moderna. I think those were that she funded the Moderna. We called them the Dolly doses back in the
Hmm.
COVID days when those were first coming out. I remember we called the one the Fauci ouchie, and then when we found
Hmm.
out Dolly was doing the Moderna one, we called them the Dolly doses. So yeah, like It's
Yep.
just that is what I mean, that's just what people used to do with their money, you know what I mean? Instead of hoard
Hmm.
it and become the world's first trillionaire and be a terrible human.
Yeah, Dolly was absolutely a philanthropist in every sense of the word, and the different things that she championed, the books, um, she just did so much, and it's not like it just the only way to describe it is a true loss
Yeah.
to a lot of
And
people.
an ally of all allies. Like you
Yeah,
couldn't Dolly was, there from the beginning, very much advocating for people to be who they are and love who they love. So
yeah, and it's just as bad
I
of a
just
loss as Betty White
yeah.
was, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so and again, Tim Curry
May her
being the
memory
just
be a blessing, that's for sure.
yeah, and she will shine on. Anyway, we are sending all our love and support to the families of course, Dolly Parton and Tim Curry. So
Yep.
thank you all. All right, now what do you want to dive into first?
Well, we did have our primary results that came in. I don't think we've recorded since then.
I
So,
don't think so.
yeah. So in the St. Pete mayor's race, it's going to be our endorsed candidate, Ken Welch versus former Governor Charlie Crist. We can talk about that. In District 6, it's going to be the Stonewall endorsed candidate Dr. Lindsay Grove versus Trevor Mallory, who's the
Hmm.
only candidate in that race that we never actually got to talk to. So I'm
Hmm.
definitely sad about that. And then of course in District 2, they didn't have a primary since it was only two candidates. It's going to be Gabriel Hammond and Courtney Bermudez, both of which have been
Yes.
on the pod. Gabriel is of course uh endorsed by Stonewall. And I
Yes.
heard Rick Kreisman, former Mayor Rick Kreisman, endorse Gabriel this week. So
Yes.
that's very exciting too. Those are the main are the elected the primaries that actually cause someone to be elected to the seat. We have District 62 Keandra Darling,
Hmm.
Representative Keandra Darling.
Well, she
I
goes
got
on
to
to
go to
she's the Democratic nominee. I don't think she hasn't won
No,
the
yeah, it
election.
was no, she's rep-elect. She's rep-elect. There's no Republican opposition. It was
Oh,
just her and
got
her
it.
opponent for that.
Perfect. That makes absolutely more
Yep,
sense. I don't
yep.
pay
So
attention,
she is
clearly.
rep-elects, yes, and I actually worked the polls on primary day. So I was beyond tired at
Yes.
the end of that
Yeah.
day, but I did stop by Keandra's victory party and had to give her a hug and give her congratulations. And one of the first things she
Absolutely.
said, she was like, "I got to come back on the podcast." So I was like,
Yes.
"You know it."
Absolutely. Also, our friend over in Hillsborough, Luis Salazar, was
Yep.
elected as the Democratic nominee for his state house district. So I'm very excited about that.
Yes,
Um,
go Luis. Yes,
yes.
absolutely. And I think that's most of the oh, well, and then of course, statewide, Angie Nixon.
Yes.
Angie Nixon is
Hmm.
going to be our candidate for Senate against Ashley Moody. And then
Yeah.
David Jolly, former guest of the pod, is going to be the Democratic nominee for governor
Yes.
against Byron Donalds. I can't
Donald.
I
Yep.
remember his last name. I just know he likes to clip the podcast. So hi.
Hi. Hope you're watching. Hope you're enjoying.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
yeah, that was were there really exciting results. There were some disappointing results as far as, like candidates that we had endorsed
Hmm.
not going on. But I'm not in that, specifically we're talking about the Michelle Rayner and Fentress Driscoll race, but like
Hmm.
it's not like we lost.
Right. Both were exceptional candidates and both were
Yeah,
absolutely
Fentress is
amazing.
going to be an
Yes.
amazing representative for us in the state senate. So,
Yes.
it is unfortunate that we're gonna lose one of them either way. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, that was exciting, and we had a Stonewall last week. We had our meeting, and we met at it was more of a social instead of like a
hmm,
meeting, and it was at Tampa Bay Drinkery, which was a lot of people's first time there
yeah,
on Central Avenue. If y'all haven't checked it out, please do. They're fam. And
yes,
Mayor Welch came, and so that
yeah,
was really nice to mingle with him for a little bit. So yeah.
yeah. That's exciting. A lot of exciting stuff, especially with the candidates that we endorsed going through. And, again, many of them have been guests. So if you haven't seen their episode, please go back and watch them. A few of them we are going to hopefully get back on before the general election.
Oh,
But
yeah, I've already been bugging Jen about getting David Jolly
But
back,
yeah,
so
and we're gonna, not just him. I want to make sure we're talking with Angie's reps, and
yeah,
we're trying to get as many people as we can before the general election. But even if not, we definitely want to have them on afterwards. So,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of exciting stuff. How do you feel about, I guess, in specific, the mayor's race? Let's talk about it a little bit.
You know, for sure, I love to talk about it. The mayor's race is now between Ken Welch and Charlie Crist, and
Mhm.
a lot was said during the primary about, you know, who represents the community and who's going to do what for the community, both our LGBTQ community and the St. Pete community at large, and
Yes,
whose interests are going to be represented and all that good stuff. And it was all well and good to hear words, and then you just reports come out, and you follow dollars, and you follow you just do investigation on what LLC is related to this, and this nonprofit is related to this, and then you
follow the
come
money.
down to that Duke Energy basically funded most of Charlie's primary.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, and right now, there's a citizen initiative that I think City Council is studying to get rid of Duke out of the city of St. Pete.
I believe
So that
so.
definitely seems a little complicated
Yeah.
relationship wise.
Yeah, there's definitely a conflict of interest, I would think. And you listen, neither one is a perfect candidate. I don't align with either one on every single thing. I think I'm
Exactly.
just going to call a spade a spade. I think that Mayor Welch has failed us in many ways. Um, there's a lot that I feel like he could have done differently. However, when you're having to choose the lesser of two evils, um, I just don't know uh,
Right.
that he's worse than Charlie Crist, and I say that knowing that Charlie is the former Democratic representative of Pinellas County in the U.S. House of Representatives. Um, he switched parties from Republican to Democrat when he decided to, or when he was out of the mayor's office and decided to run for congressman. Um, and again, it's just one of those things where I don't know which is worse, and unfortunately, it's a choice between two not so perfect candidates, but one's a little less not so perfect, I think.
There's that. There is that of it. And to me, it also comes down to, Mayor Welch has been in this community his whole life. He hasn't, fucked off to Wisconsin or wherever to live by the lakes for the
Yeah,
last 10 years or whatnot. So, he's been here doing work, and it's been hard work. And has his work been perfect? No. Is it do we still need to continue a relationship with him to push on things that are important to us, like the 501(g)(3) agreement, like the flat cameras, like diversity in city government? Like, yeah, we're gonna keep our relationship with the mayor to, push those issues forward. I think we have a better chance of pushing those issues forward with Mayor Welch than we do with Charlie Crist. All of his money's coming from Republican donors. So, like, I'm just gonna, you can tell me that you're not a zebra all day and that you've painted your stripes, but like, throw a little, we're throw a little hose on you and you're a zebra underneath it. So like,
Yeah.
that's just where I'm coming from.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are feeling the same way. And here's the one thing that I want to make sure everybody knows is that no matter what, we're still going to hold whoever it is accountable to their what they do. And if they're not helping us, if they're actively trying to hurt us, or if they're not actively trying to help us, we are still going to hold those people accountable, whether it's Ken Welch or it's Charlie Crist. We will hold them accountable, and it's more important for people not to give up on this just because you don't have a perfect candidate, or just because you think the current mayor is worse or better. It's we have to stay focused, and we have to not get lost in the
The
words
sauce.
of it. Exactly. And we have to make sure that we're holding our representatives, no matter what level they are, accountable. And that's what we will continue to do. And that's what I encourage everyone out there to do, whether you agree with it or
Just
not.
think Yeah, and it's ridiculous for the attacks that like people are getting that are supporting the mayor, and it's like, well, then you support ice and flock, bro. Come on, that's actually crazy. You know that we don't. Just because you can support someone in a two-person race, that doesn't mean you're going to support every single period.com of their platform. It's just the same thing as Mayor Mamdani talking about in New York, disavowing pieces of the DSA platform. It's like you go where it fits you best, and
Mhm.
Mayor Welch fits St. Pete best, I think.
Sure. Yeah. And here's the thing, there were other candidates as well in the race. I think there were
There
six or
were.
seven candidates. And the one that I, on a personal level, wanted did not make it. Does that mean that I'm going to not pay attention to that race at all? Does that mean I'm not going to vote come November and make sure my voice is heard? No, absolutely not. I'm going to continue to go forward. I voted my heart in the primary, and now I'm going to vote the way we need to vote for our party and make sure that we keep St. Pete as diverse and as inclusive as possible. Um, and just what I think, who has the best path forward right now. So,
For sure. I agree. Totally agree.
but what other races do we want to touch on real quick?
So I just wanted to say, because I heard this clarification recently, because I was getting super annoyed with like everyone calling Angie Nixon a DSA candidate, because
Mhm,
I'm like, she's done been in Florida elected politics as a Democrat for like ever.
mhm,
And I guess she like did like join the DSA like during the campaign. So there is that of it. But then I'm also just super annoyed with yeah, not loving the discourse of that race either.
yeah,
Thankfully, a lieutenant colonel or whatever his rank is, I'm not saying that pejoratively. I just literally don't remember whatever Mr. or Alex Denman, whatever his,
mhm,
he was amazing. He was like, we support Angie. Here's my
mhm,
leftover money. Here's my donor list. Like, here's my
mhm.
volunteers. Like, he's
Yes,
doing what you're supposed to do in a primary when
absolutely.
to support your candidate. I really hope that the people. I just when you say the whole, I don't know if she's electable. I'm sorry. Like, it's just thinly veiled misogynoir at this point.
Yeah.
Like, stop. Stop. It's like, yes, it's yeah, they always say that about women, but like, make it a black woman and it's even worse. Like, she is electable. She just beat the pants off Alex Vindman by double digit points, who like had $15 million to her
Mhm,
$1 million that were
mhm.
raised. Like, she
Yeah.
obviously can win and she can do it on a shoestring. So why don't we, party, state chair, support her and
Absolutely.
not worry about what national media is dubbing someone. And why don't you look at the person that you've worked with for
Yeah.
years and know who they are
Yeah.
and vote for them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Angie is an incredible representative. She has been, at least for her district and for the state of Florida. She's been an elected official for a while. She is not someone new. She is not someone who hasn't been, in these types of situations or oh God, positions before.
Yeah,
She's been everywhere. She knows what she's doing and she knows the right way that we do need to go forward. And she has a resounding message. Again, Alex Vindman had millions upon millions, multiple $1 million. And she had, I don't know if it was a little bit more or a little bit less than a million, but she was at a fraction of the campaign money that he had. And she still beat him like it was out of the water.
handily. Yeah,
And, and I really don't. I just have to touch on this. I don't love the way Mrs. Vindman attacked Angie online. I think that
yeah,
was disgusting. I think that was way out of line, and the things that she said were they were just absolutely awful. And
right.
that has no
Thinly
place.
veiled misogynoir again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that has no place in who should represent us. Those type of beliefs should not represent us as a state. And so I'm very grateful and happy to see that Angie won. And I'm also very grateful and happy to see that Mr. Vindman, Alex Vindman, is supporting her. And I'm excited to see what happens in November. I'm excited to learn more about Angie. Hopefully we're going to meet her in a couple of weeks. We're going to have her on. We're still working out the details, but as soon as we know, whatever will come, we will let you know. But yeah, I'm very,
Yeah.
very happy about that race.
Yeah, that's a super good one too. Yeah, so very excited. And I think it's an interesting for the way that impacts the governor's race. I think it actually helps David Jolly more than Alexander Vindman would have. You
I
know what I
think
mean?
so.
Like, I don't know. I think that because I think he's just gonna get. I think even though David's more centrist and moderate than Angie Nixon, I do think that he's just gonna get some of the like excitement and oomph of voters for her, and then just be like, okay, yeah, this guy too, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there would have been that excitement for for Alex Vindman,
Yeah.
the
No,
same fervor anyway.
I agree. I agree. I think she is very much electable. I think she is connecting with a part of the party that has not been connected within the state in a long time. And I think she's resonating with those people. I know she is because of how she won. And so
Yeah,
it'll be very interesting seeing what happens in November because for the longest time people have said that Florida is a dead sea for Democrats and
hard
we will never
red.
get it's but I really do think that we have a chance, and I'm excited to see what happens moving forward. Um,
Absolutely, for sure.
so yeah, and again, we want to have David Jolly back on the pod. So as soon as if
Yeah.
we have any information on that, if we're able to make that happen, we will let you all know and hope that you tune in
Yeah.
again. Um, I am going to be honest. I don't have a next topic. So what do you want to talk about next?
Let's see. Oh, I had something awesome and I thought about it in the car, and now I can't
I hate
remember
that.
that. Of course, it's
I hate
typical.
that.
Oh, wait, we can talk about another previous guest that we've had on the pod that's special to me, mi
Yeah.
padre, Papa Gurks,
Yeah.
Pete Gherkin. He's been up there in Lucas County causing all types of good trouble regarding their flock cameras.
Good.
And surveillance, yeah, and did an interview with a Houston ABC affiliate, and then they got picked up and put on CNN and GMA, so that was kinda cool, like,
Heck
getting
yeah.
in the morning, waking up to texts from friends from college and stuff being like, "I think I just saw your dad on GMA." I'm like,
You might have.
"Yeah,
Just
sounds
a
about right."
Just a little touch, a tidbit of him. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm really excited to hear that because I think that flock cameras are one of the biggest issues that are coming up. Let's talk about this for a
Yep,
second because I don't think
yep,
we can't. This and data centers, I think, are just realistically the two most pressing issues that we have affecting us right now because
Well, and they're
the
related.
yeah, absolutely. They are related. The flock cameras, because again, it's just government spying
Mhm.
on every single move that a person makes. They can literally track a person every single move, any move at any point in time. They can track you.
Well, I just wanna, like, cut I think what they are is it's technically Flock is, the name of a private company that the government is employing, so it's the private company spying on you via the government.
Correct.
But, yeah, so it's even scarier, I think, than just the
Yeah.
government spying on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it does end up being this private company that has all of your information. And again, they're able to find you at any given point in time just from these cameras. And we've already seen how horrible they can be used because there was that one officer who was stalking his ex-girlfriend or his ex-fiance, whatever it was, and just stalked her and her family and her friends. Um, for I don't know how long it was, but the fact that he was able to do it, like I think over 50 times. Again, I
Yeah.
don't have the exact specifications of it, but again, it was true stalking. And
Yeah, oh, for
he was
sure.
a police officer and he was
Yep.
stalking these people. So if that can happen from a police officer to their ex, imagine what any government entity and what any elected official who has access to that can do. Um,
Yeah, and they just don't they have no there's no, like, uniform, like, test for when you get to, like, search the flock database, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have a suspicion or, a preponderance of the evidence or whatever, it's just whoever officer has access to the database can just be like, Google, 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 Flocky, Flocky. And there is actually a website called haveibeenflocked.com where you can put your license plate in and see if you've been part of a flock search. Now that the caveat to that is those are only searches that have been FOIA'd by the company running the website. So that's only stuff that's been made public so far, but yeah, it's terrifying to think that, for example, the story my dad got big on is that it was Houston police were Googling or flock searching the Toledo people. And so it's like, and it was done almost, I think they said it was like 94,000 searches on Lucas County residents had been done in 30 in just a 30-day period by
that's
the Houston
disgusting.
police. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. And the fact that a different state, a totally different jurisdiction, not even just like a county over, a different state on
Right.
the other side, on the bottom half of the country, when you're at the very top of the country, that's insane.
Right.
That's
Yeah. Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's
And
really
again, it's something that's truly terrifying. And I think that is one of the most pressing issues. And then again, like we said, data centers right now they're popping up everywhere. And this is a bipartisan issue. This is not just something that Democrats care about. I'm seeing a lot more Republicans come out and hey, we got to take care of these data centers. Unfortunately, the Republican side of the representatives, um, they're not fighting the way they should. And I'm happy to see Republicans, constituents, holding their elected officials accountable because these centers destroy our environment and they have so much damage. They are just absolutely it's awful. AI is a huge problem. We have to rein it in. And these data centers are only going to destroy our environment and our economy even more. And so I'm glad to see that Republican constituents are stepping up and joining the fight. And I hope that Republican representatives are paying attention because if you're not in November, guess what, friend? You're out.
Yeah, and I actually was just listening to a podcast the other day. They were interviewing Rep. Seth Moulton in Massachusetts, who's primarying Senator Ed Markey, and or whatever, they're primarying for senator. And Moulton was like, I just hate the red communist scare tactic that people use anytime they're talking about China, because they're talking about like, should we put a more like Bernie wants to put a moratorium on data centers for a year until we can get AI better regulated and under control. And his first response was, well, we can't because China's going to do it. China's going to surpass us. And I'm like, and he said some, and then he said something else in the interview about like, and me as American, do I want my data hosted by a Chinese data center or an American data center? And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? That's actually kind of funny because the American data center is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, or Larry Ellison, or whoever's son owns
Yes.
TikTok, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and they're not following the laws of America either. So
Yeah.
like maybe I do. Maybe I don't care. Like I'm not saying I prefer China more, but like maybe I don't care because they're going to be treated the same way. I'm still going to be labeled like a political whatever because of things that we say or watch or consume, and it's just like I'm just so sick of everyone of the default being like, well, if China does it, it's terrible and we're all gonna die. I'm like, I
Right.
think that's how we're just giving this unfettered, unregulated control to Elon,
Hmm.
Bezos, Zuckerberg, what's his name, Palantir guy,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Thiel.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're just giving them everything and letting them do whatever they want with it. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
and there's no guidelines. There's no
None.
nothing keeping them in check. So again, even if we do say that we don't want China to, there's nothing to hold these people accountable. You're just letting them come and
Right.
have access to all this information. You're letting them destroy the environment because again, there's so many environmental issues with these data centers and what they do, and they're just our fucking environment is already screwed here in
Yeah.
Florida thanks to Big Sugar. So I don't think we need any more of that. We can't handle it. We're already destroying the state. We're already destroying the country. And if we continue to do this again, we're not only destroying our environment, but again, we are giving these people unfettered access to every single thing that we have with no regulations on them. And that's even more terrifying than China having it. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Exactly.
So
Right.
anyway,
Because they're
I
like, I mean, the whole argument is like, well, you don't know what China's going to do with it. You're right. I don't. But like, they're probably going to target me with more cute cat videos the way they've done on Red Note and when they own TikTok. So the Ellisons and Zuckerberg and all of them have done nothing but target me and give me anxiety and, give kids body dysmorphia and depression. So
mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So yeah, those are definitely two hot button issues that I think are going to drive the way this election goes forward in November. And so, um, definitely keep your eyes and ears open for that because it's a huge issue, and I think we're going to hear a lot more about it. So, um,
Absolutely. Well, and that was, I will say the one thing, and it was Moulton's interview on Pod Save America. The one thing that he did come down to that I did kind of say is that he was like, I don't know if I like the idea of the national moratorium. He was like, it should be up to each municipality that's building it. If they, if there should be standards that they like, the data center has to pay for their own electricity. That
mhm,
cost cannot and should not be passed on to the consumer, the surrounding consumers. And tax breaks. Like you don't get to tout that you're going to have all these jobs. Well, they're construction jobs to build the data center, and then you're going to have like 10 engineers like manning the whole thing
yeah,
forever. Like there's
yeah,
none of these jobs. So
yeah,
anyway, that's all. That's my last little
yeah.
rant
No,
on it.
I agree. I agree. And again, keep your eyes and ears open. So,
For sure.
I are we
Do you
okay
want to keep
moving
it
into
short
our
today?
shout out and shut down? I was just about to
Yeah,
say,
I was
yeah.
gonna say let's do a short one today.
So I have a shutdown, and it's something that I've touched on before, something that I wrote an article about. But I will, if you want me to go first, I will
Yeah, go
absolutely do
ahead.
that. If you have something that you would leave us off on a better note.
Yeah,
Um,
I will definitely come up with something.
so, but what did you have? What did you have in mind anyway?
Oh, for my shout out?
Yeah, did you have a shout out or shut down?
Well, I will have a shout out, but do you want to end on
Okay.
mine or do you want to go?
Yeah, we'll end on yours. We'll end on yours.
Okay,
I'll
you
bring the
floor
mood
is yours
down.
and I will figure it out.
I'll bring the mood down so you can bring it back up.
Okay.
I am. This is something that I've said multiple times before. It's something again that I've written an article about in the newspaper. Um, uh, I am sick and tired of white cis gay men specifically, but also cis women, lesbians, and just members of our community that are more passing, I should say, that get to walk into any store and not be looked at a different way or be called a nasty name or anything like that. I'm sick and tired of them saying, oh, well, I don't get political. It's not my fight. Why am I getting it's not I just don't want to ruffle any feathers. Our existence is inherently political. If you think that the economy doesn't affect LGBTQ plus people, you're wrong. If you think healthcare doesn't affect LGBTQ people, you're wrong. Housing, the environment. I could go on and on about every major issue facing the everyday person that specifically hurts LGBTQ plus people. And so when you say you don't get political, I don't understand what the fuck you mean. And you piss me off. I'm sorry. Clip this, post it everywhere you can because it pisses me off when I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, why am I fighting? Why do I continue to do this every single day if Joe Blow, another gay man who's just going to sit there and say, "Oh, well, I don't have to worry about it. That's not affecting me, so I don't care. I get to pass by." And when you walk into a building and you get immediately judged and immediately you feel like all eyes are on you in a bad way, that's a
Right.
problem. Like it's hurtful, it's harmful. And so when you're not able to say that I understand and empathize with that and you sit there and say that you're not political, I fuck all the way off. Fuck all the way off because our entire existence inherently is political. It's just the basic fact of life. And so I am calling out, as I have and will continue to do, I am calling out specifically white, gay, cis men. But I'm calling on every member of our community. When you say you're not political, you're lying. You have to be. In today's day and age, you have to be. And there's a TV show that I really, really love. And I think that everybody, I've seen some promos for it and I've seen a few episodes. It's called Tiptoe and it's based in Manchester. It is absolutely amazing, but there's one specific scene that I really found very, very powerful. And it's a scene where there's two elder LGBTQ people sitting out on the patio, and one of them says, "If you would have asked me in 1996 what 2026 would look like for the gay community, I would have told you it would be puppies and rainbows, and we're going to be dancing down the streets in our glitters and everything like that." But they tricked us. Where we are now is not that. And that's true. We're not there. In many ways, it's harder right now, and it's more dangerous because they tricked us into coming out. They tricked us and made us feel safe enough to say that I am who I am. Now, I'm not saying that we should go back into the closet by any means. We do deserve every right to sit here and say that we are
Mhm.
who we are and unapologetically be, but it is still dangerous. And so when I hear people that are just basically passing as the average person and nobody gives them a second thought, when you say that when you say that you don't get political, it means that you don't care. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about your community. You don't care about other people. You just don't care. And yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's my shutdown.
Yeah, no, and to that point, when I hear people, especially people in our community, say that they're not political or they're apolitical, I hear someone that pulled the ladder up behind them when they made it out.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? They're not
I also
they're not helping bring people up behind them. They pulled that ladder right out.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I part of me is like when you say that you aren't political and you are passing, I just think that that must be some amount of a miserable life because why are you not sparkling? Why are you not
right?
out here with the beautiful
Precisely.
hair and you know, if you're just out there being average, then you're just average, friend. Like, got to be a miserable,
Precisely.
some level of miserable there. But anyway, so that's I'll jump off my soapbox for you.
I love your soapbox, and you are free to get on that at any time because it's true. You know, you got to be able to call out your own people to call them
Yeah,
in. You know
and
what
I
I'm
want people
saying?
to
So
call
yeah,
me out too. If there's something that I'm fucking up on, call me
yeah,
out. Like I don't
for
care.
sure.
We'll have a discussion. I will change if I
Yeah,
need to change, and we'll go from there. But yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I've got my great shout out. I thought of it. I was totally listening, but I thought of it while you were talking, and it's something that's made me smile this week in our week of losses. Um,
Hmm.
and that's our new Minnesota Miles Morales, the new Black Spider-Man that jumps out and punches Nazis. Yes.
Yes.
For those of y'all that haven't seen it, there was some right-wing provocateur who I can't even care to know what his name is, was having some rally in I think it was in Minneapolis in Minnesota, and there were counter protesters, and our man came in like Spider-Man. He jumped in with the fist flying first, and he did get arrested, as does happen, unfortunately, and that's how
Yes.
he was unmasked, and we
Consequences.
found out that, yeah, he was a young black man, but, Miles Morales, our new Minnesota Miles Morales, our new crime
Absolutely.
fighter against Nazis in 2026. 2 thumbs
Absolutely.
up for me.
I'm here for it. All right. Well, that was all we had for this episode. So I will hand it over to you for our outro. But thanks for listening. If you made it this far, we really do appreciate you. And we hope that something resonated with you.
Absolutely. We appreciate y'all so much for listening and watching every week. You can remember to please like us and follow us Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Substack. We're at for Saint.Pete's sake. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. And if you could leave a little rating and review to help promote us on the pod algorithms, that would be amazing. We'll be back next week with more people with more stories from people doing the hard work to make our community better. Until next time, for St. Pete's sake, keep pushing for change.